This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Canna Health.
Hey cannabis consumers, have you ever consumed a cannabis product thinking it'll make you feel a certain way, but then it doesn't? Don't you wish you had a clear understanding of your own DNA so that you could make informed decisions about what type of cannabis products interact best with your system? Well, now you can with EndoDNA. EndoDNA is a simple DNA test that maps your entire endocannabinoid system and then matches that summary with a specific cannabinoid ratio and terpene profile that best aligns with your unique genotype. Imagine being armed with personal information when visiting a dispensary. You'll have the knowledge and power and capability to purchase products that best align with your genotype. Visit their website to purchase the EndoDNA Collection Kit and Endo Decoded Report at endodna.com/products and use the promo code CONNECT15 for a 20% discount. Again, that's endodna.com/products and use the promo code CONNECT15 for a 20% discount. The future of cannabinoid therapeutics is here with EndoDNA. Barry, Christina, thanks for joining me. How are you guys?
Good.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm really looking forward to talking to you both today. I got to say that I think the start of how we're even talking today was through the lens of philanthropy. And I say that because I tweeted something. I tweeted out that the current administration doesn't think that veterans should be allowed to legally consume cannabis because we obviously know that they're under the Biden administration, the VA is opposing, research and whatnot for veterans. So when I said that, it sparked an exchange within Twitter, and someone reached out and said that Tradecraft Farms was just doing great work. And so I wanted to talk to you first about just y'all's focus in philanthropy. I mean, I did research before recording, and I even read I saw another story online about a gentleman by the last name of Perez who lost his life as a food truck server, and then y'all kind of stepped in as one of the local businesses to raise money for his family. So talk to me about this focus in philanthropy and where that comes from.
Wow. The company's been around for a while. We've been around for 10, 11 years, but long before, my brother came to me and had, this fabulous idea that he had. And long before we met Christina, I'm a high school dropout. I'm a recovering addict, and I had a tough run at it for a while. And when I got sober about 23 years ago now, I accidentally started a program that feeds homeless people in Los Angeles. And the program has blossomed and it's grown over the years. And because of people like Christina, because of my brother who has helped us, take the company and get us involved, because of all of my friends all over the world, we feed a lot of people now. And it's been it's a blessing to me because I get so much more out of it. And that's the big secret, right? That I get so much out of it, I almost feel guilty. Like it changed my life the first time I did it. The first time I handed a warm meal to a homeless guy living under the bridge, I could smell his skin rotting. I could see the open sores. He grabbed the meal out of my hand so fast that I literally jumped. And then he just said thank you to me in like this warm, totally sane voice. And he could have been my uncle. And I'm telling you, it changed my life forever. And
is that the accidental moment that you talked like that you mentioned earlier? Okay, yeah. So like it was just serendipity. You had it was so impactful that was kind of your calling.
It was so impactful. And here's the deal: is I rushed back to my house to grab a couple more meals because I was like, wow, this guy's really bad. There's other people. And as I rode my bicycle, back to this bridge where these homeless people were staying, they looked at me like I was a hero. They treated me like I was superhuman. And I had never felt good about myself at that time in my life. I never felt really good about myself. And I felt so good for what I was doing. I bragged about it. I told everyone, oh, I fed homeless people. You know, I was totally shameless.
It was mutually beneficial though at the time,
Totally.
because it was uplifting you as well, right? I mean, it was fulfilling.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has been for 23 years since. Our company does a lot of philanthropy. We really believe in working in the neighborhoods that we open up in, helping the people that we run our business in that neighborhood. And you know, when Mr. Perez was gunned down for having a taco cart in Fresno, he did nothing wrong. He had $70 on him, and he was shot point blank.
Jeez.
And he's now got 4 children, you know, that don't have a father, and you know, he's left a wife, and that was an easy one for us. Like we just immediately, because you know, Christina can attest to this. Like food vendors they're like, you know, we really do a lot of work with food vendors. We love having taco guys and ice cream machines and all this stuff. You know, when we do events, so that one hurt. That one was very close to home.
Totally.
So anyway.
Well, and I would imagine, like, you know, when you're hiring employees, you want those employees to have the same mindset and the same kind of cultural or even kind of moral values in some kind of capacity, right? So, Christina, why don't you tell me a little bit about, you know, your passion for philanthropy and kind of what it means to you by giving back to the community?
For sure. You know, for myself, I've never done anything like this until I started working with Tradecraft. You know, so our first year doing this, I did it because the company they had it going on, but getting to see our members, our customers getting involved as well, that didn't have somewhere to go on Thanksgiving, and they came to our store to help us feed homeless people. Like Barry was saying, it's mutually beneficial for the people giving and the people that are receiving. And I was able to experience that and see that. And then after that first year, I was hooked.
Yeah, she's hooked. She's underselling herself. She's got a heart of gold, and she's in it to win it now.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, you can just see it. And I guess I didn't finish my complete thought. So with that tweet, it sparked, like, the Veterans Coalition responded, and they talked about Tradecraft's Veterans Compassion Program. So talk to us a little bit about that, because we know that, you know, veterans and mental health is becoming more of an issue. And man, there's this staggering statistic. I recently had Brian Buckley on. I really encourage you guys to listen to that if you have not, those listening and watching this episode. But he says that over 30,000 veterans have committed suicide since the war in Afghanistan started, and we've lost about 7,500 on the battlefield. So he says, in theory, it's more dangerous for us being back home than it was being in combat. So
that's insane.
Isn't that an insane stat
number?
So yeah, so that's kind of how this all sparked up. I've been, you know, so tell me a little bit about Tradecraft's Veteran Compassion Program and I think California's SB 34 program, how that fits.
Yeah, so you know, with Prop 64, there wasn't any type of compassion program under Prop 64. So we were used to giving so much back to the community, but with Prop 64, we couldn't do it anymore. But in March of 2020, SB 34 was passed so that we can give free cannabis donations to people who need it, like veterans, elderly, terminally ill people. And when I heard about that, I started reaching out to different people and vendors, trying to figure out how to get that program in our store. But because it was so new, it was a little bit difficult to get it started. And I actually started working with a brand called Emerald Bay Extracts. And they give a lot of donations to different stores that are a part of this program. And I let them know that I was looking for this, and he was like, you know what, I can help you. I know who to link you up with. And they linked me up with a Veterans Coalition, and that was in January.
Wow.
And Eric from Veterans Coalition kind of held my hand a little bit and helped us get the program started in our stores. And we've been doing that ever since January.
That's such a great program. I mean, just the concept of, curating certain products where these brands want to opt in to the program, and then you're just able to give back to these veterans, give these baskets or these, I guess just packages of product that just can help enhance their life, right? I mean, that's an incredible thing, and thank God for that bill that passed.
Yeah, the bags are pretty substantial. They have like $150 to $300 worth of product in them every single month. So we have a lot of veterans who come in and now they don't even have to really buy anything, which helps them outside of their medical needs, because they are having a hard time. So we're really happy that we are able to have that in our stores now.
What's the reaction been like? Do you get any returning veterans come back and be like, you've changed my life, or this, like, what are they saying?
They come and bring us pizza because they're so happy and they're thankful and they want to give something back to us, so they'll buy us lunch. But like, we have this one customer, his name is Dana, and he's one of our everyday customers, and he's so awesome, and he's a veteran. And when we started this program, one of the very first time we had a box for him, he was so touched that he didn't have words. He went out to sit in his car for a little bit, and he came back in and he was like, I had to go out to my car and sit in there and cry a little bit because he was just like so moved by us. And
Wow.
and he went and embraced all of us and let us know how much it means to him. And we hear that from a lot of veterans that come into our stores, and it's really awesome to hear them that they're grateful and what they're using it for and how it helps them. It's really encouraging and inspiring to myself and the rest of the staff, and kind of really keeps us humbled and reminds us why we're doing what we're doing and why we chose cannabis as our careers.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it seems like a really rewarding space to be in, and just the fact that, again, you have that philanthropy lens on, kind of that leads, right? You kind of lead with that, and I think that's what's a differentiator for Tradecraft when I've seen compared to other brands. So, outside of the philanthropy, Barry, why don't you talk to us a little bit about, the company's origin story? I know that you and your brother Brent co-founded the company. So, why don't you talk us through that and kind of what the overall mission and what you guys do, the value that you bring to the table?
Yeah, we've been around for about 10 years. I always give credit to Brent, really the visionary. He's the one who came to me. He's my little brother, so I give him a hard time all the time, and there's a lot of like sibling rivalry always going on. But he came to me and he said, like, hey, we should do this. We can do this. I can grow. And I was, and I'm the sober guy, and I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Come on, I know what you want to do, and he's like, no, really think about it. Think about, so he actually turned me on to some like stories about CBD and at the time, the whole Charlotte's Web thing was really blowing up, and there was parents searching for high CBD strains, driving across state lines and purchasing, this stuff because their children were dying of seizures. And that really got to me. There was that whole big CNN story, and I watched that, with Sanjay Gupta, and I was like, you know what? He's right. Like, this is the beginning of something that's huge. This is like a generational type movement that, it happens once every 100 years or so. And so we decided to do it. We are, and I love that you're talking about the philanthropy. It works with us because we're a family company. Like we're honestly a family company. We, our parents work with us. Some of our other siblings work with us. We've got, cousins and stuff like that. And Christina is like our family. Like we're a family company. And, 10 years ago, things were still a little funky out there. There were still raids and the cops were still busting everyone's lights. It was like a scene from a 1930s prohibition movie, right? They walk in with baseball bats and break everything up and be like, now get out of here, and that was really happening. We would literally grow flower and then have to look outside our door and be like, okay, pull the car around, like it was still like that.
Wow.
But because we were concerned about that and concerned about people that were coming up through the cannabis business, the old school traditional style. Like, we didn't want to deal with thugs or smugglers or anyone like that. So we became vertically integrated, and that meant we would grow all of our own product. We would manufacture our own brands. We would have stores of our own to sell them. And we were truly a seed to sale type from the very beginning. And so what that's done is it's given us a little bit of power to we never took money from anyone. We never took outside money. So we're able to grow ourselves without any outside influence. Another, it allows us to just be, I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
I know what you mean. I mean, it's like it gives you a sense of autonomy because you can operate the way in which you want without outside stakeholders directing your business operation.
Making our choices for us, and we didn't have to make choices out of fear. We didn't have to make choices because we controlled everything. And so we've Sticky is our oil line. Tradecraft Farms, of course, is well-known flower throughout the state. We're just about to launch My Canna, which is a vaporizer spray with 5 different strains and powers from CBD to THC and CBG and CBN in between. We have 5 stores in Oklahoma, but California is really where we do all of our business. We have 2 stores here. Christina operates, she's our regional manager actually, but she operates Vista. We have Port Hueneme. We're about to open up El Monte. And we're big cultivators. We're building a huge facility out in Lancaster. We actually possess the first outdoor cultivation license in the county of Los Angeles. So we have hoop houses. We have a 30,000 square foot light assist greenhouse and another 80,000 square foot building where we do our indoor. And that's all that's under construction right now. We'll be turning that on in early next year. But the hoop house is already going. We're already growing out there.
Wow.
But yeah, Christina can tell us all about Vista and the stores. She can tell you all about the retail.
Yeah, go ahead, Christina.
I'm sorry, I was so into what Barry was saying. I don't even know what the original question was.
No, it's fine. He was just mentioning your region, like Vista, and kind of the operations there, and kind of what you're seeing on the day to day.
What I see day to day. Well, I'm in the I do operations, so I'm not on the sales floor all the time. I usually am on the sales floor with like big events. So we have like 420, like Black Friday, I'll be on the sales floor, our veterans events. We also have like a senior day on the 3rd Saturday of every month where we hook up all of our seniors. Our store, our focus is customer service and making everybody have like the experience that people thought never imagined. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought that we would have dispensaries where you could walk into and shop. I never thought that was going to be something possible. A lot of people didn't think it was possible. So when they come in our store, we want to make it like a candy shop and just like blow people's minds in all types of aspects, where customer service, presentation. If you see our stores, they're so beautiful. They are painted by a local graffiti artist. His name's Risk. So they're really different and beautiful. They have like an open store. So it's not where we have products behind a counter and everything's kind of restricted. The way our stores are is you walk in and it's like a normal shopping experience. You can pick up and grab products, put them in a shopping basket. You can shop by yourself, or you can have somebody walk around and guide you. So we've really, I feel, taken that dispensary experience to like the next level at our stores.
Christina has about an 84 customer return rate. The customer service that she's created at all of our stores is so phenomenal that people, even though there's competition now, they keep coming back to our stores, and it's really a testament to how we run the store and how we treat our patients and our customers, and the love that they get when they show up.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you mentioned, Christina, that differentiated experience where people can actually pick up the product and touch it and look at it and put it in their cart and walk around. Like that is different. And I didn't really, think about it until now in terms of like the shopping experience and how for some people that's very important, right? I mean, you want to see it, you want to touch it, if some cases you want to smell it if it's possible. So that does sound like a great, kind of add-on that you've included within that experience.
Yeah, and right now a lot of people are new to cannabis or new to dispensaries. So it really gives people the freedom to take their time and, learn about the product and get educated and really find what they're looking for, instead of feeling like they're rushed because they're in a line and there's somebody behind them and they just have to take your recommendation. They're really able to find exactly what they want.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds like it. Well, Barry, question for you. So you mentioned you have stores you're operating out of California and Oklahoma. So talk to me a little bit about both those markets and the challenges that are presented, the opportunities, the differences. Let's compare the two.
It's stark difference, right? Oklahoma and California.
And we'll start with one's medical and one's adult use, of course. Oklahoma being medical. Yeah,
that's a good point. Oklahoma has, I think, 5,600 retail cannabis licenses. And, California has what, 600 total, I think, something like that. So it's a very saturated market, but, I think most people, 4 years ago, if you'd said Oklahoma is going to come out and be like the big one, like they're just going to open the doors, like no one would have believed that. But I think it's a testament to that it's just becoming so much more understood and accepted, and we have great we have great shops out in Oklahoma, great customer base, and it's quite different from California. I think California, it's interesting because you go to Oklahoma and you feel like you are time traveling a couple years back, because they're always a couple years behind California. So you feel like everything. You can read the future, and blow their minds by telling them what's going to happen in the next couple years. But California is interesting because, this is not only our backyard, but it's a tremendous proving ground for the industry and what's happening. 2 years ago, the cannabis customer or the cannabis patient, and Christina will attest to this, was that classic traditional cannabis person, right? And they're looking for flower and they want, high THC. But nowadays, it is that needle starting to move over, and it's a lot of our clients are doctors that are pulling over on their way home, lawyers, first responders, finance people, real estate agents. They pull up in their fancy convertibles, and they hop out and they walk in, and it's a totally different clientele. It's somebody that's interested in a spray or a balm that you apply to a sore joint, and it's interesting to see that, because I think before we went on the air, we were talking about how the market's changing, right? And the different products and things like that. And so I find it really, really interesting, and there's definitely two different clienteles, like an Oklahoma to a California. We have licenses in Maine now, so that'll be our first East Coast. We'll have those stores open in 6 months. I assume they'll be a little bit closer to the California, but they'll be their own breed out there. Out there, they love edibles. They love the spray will do super well out there. So anyway.
No, yeah, you bring up a great point when you talk about your clientele and how it's shifted, because I've reiterated this on the podcast, and of course guests have as well, in that the demographic for cannabis consumers is so vast, it's so varied, right? You've got the older generation, you've got people in their 30s, 40s, and they're the young people right out of high school. Or college, excuse me, got to be over 21, but there's different ways in which humans are consuming this plant, but it touches kind of every aspect of life.
Absolutely.
It's insane. And so, I mean, with that, and it just kind of shows that this pressure is building with the overall support nationwide for federal legalization, and now how both parties have presented bills, to address legalization. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So how is Tradecraft Farms, positioning itself for when that time comes?
We're actively involved in working with cities in Southern California to write language for voters initiatives or ordinances that can be adopted by the cities. We're currently in about 7 or 8 cities right now where that's happening. And I think that everyone, I mean, we get into politicians, right? So it's funny because, we used to, just 7, 8 years ago, right? It would have never imagined that we were like sitting at tables, fundraising events for, state representatives and mayors and governors and all this stuff. But that's who we communicate with now, because they want what we have, which is the language that they need to learn to create law around cannabis. And we have tax dollars for them, and they love that too. It's coming out of COVID,
especially in California. Yeah,
especially in California. Like we went from like being what an illegal drug that could put you in jail for your life to being an essential business through COVID, and that's crazy when you think about it. And Christina, we were lined up. We had cars lined up at our shops. And everyone was masked up and gloved up, and they were, it's created quite a bit of a drive-through business now with us. But with COVID happening, and it looks like maybe the end's not even in sight now, right? It's the new normal. There was no tax dollars on restaurants. There was no tax dollars on bars. There was no tax dollars on nightclubs. All of those things, are just now starting to come back online. So there's this big gaping hole in all the budgets, and so all these politicians are now turning around and looking at us and saying, can you help us get something done in the next 6 months to a year? And so that's what I've been personally working on for the company. And but again, Christina's she's down in the trenches. She sees it on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah. And I could see like the urgency of these elected officials to want to partner with, like you said, the industry operators and experts to learn the language, the terminology, to then write the bills and get this thing done. I also see it also as like an issue that they're politicizing in the midterm election cycle, right? I think that, the Democrats have been talking about the CAOA for so long with kind of no action, and then now you're seeing the Republicans present something, right before midterms elections, and they're taking. So it's just one of those.
Welcome to politics.
Exactly, right. So it's just like the one thing that I just hope is that we just hope we come to some kind of sensible cannabis reform, because you talked about the tax in California, which already makes it difficult for operators in that state, right? But then you impose a tax rate of 10% or more at the federal level, which is included in the current CAOA bill, and you're just promoting the illicit market at that point, right? I mean, it's going to be very difficult. So
there's numbers out there that 80% of the cannabis that's purchased in California is on the black market. It makes it absolutely, well, I won't say impossible because we're still standing, right? But it makes it very, very difficult for us to operate. We want to pay our taxes. We want to, we want to sell meds to people that need it. We want to be a vital part of any community, but if you're not policing, and if you're making it so difficult that we can barely survive, most people just choose not to, and they just stay in the illicit market.
Right.
That's the unfortunate truth.
Right. And especially if you want to address something like social equity, right? I mean, it would make sense to have a lower excise tax at the federal level so that people of color who have been disenfranchised with the plant, have been locked up, or, you know, lost their livelihoods, ruined their lives from prohibition, can have a leg up, like have a start, right? And have a fighting chance. I mean, running a business is not easy to begin with, but especially in cannabis, you know, so
I
it
agree.
makes sense.
It's cutthroat, and yeah.
I mean, yeah, you mentioned Oklahoma. I would imagine you know firsthand that market being so much competition, right? Because it's unlimited licenses. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But even here in LA, like, you know, again, I'll point to Christina because she knows, like, we have to, because again, we're only getting 20% of the market, right? We ran a measure in Vista, California called Measure Z. We ran a voters initiative. It went to the vote. You know, the city fought us the whole way. We love the city of Vista, by the way. Full disclosure, we love all the council members and the mayor, everybody. But they were very afraid of us when we came in, and they fought us. They pushed back. It turns out that the people of Vista wanted cannabis and they voted for it. Big surprise for us. We knew that was going to happen, but it allowed 11 shops to come in there. So now there's 11 stores in Vista, the only place anywhere in northern San Diego where you can buy cannabis. And we're generating millions of dollars a year in taxes. But it's still difficult. It's very competitive between us. Christina knows we're always doing some kind of deal, always doing some kind of discount, because we have to, it's like a race to the bottom for the licensed guys, right? While the non-licensed guys, they don't care. You know, they just put it in a truck and send it to Florida. What do they care? You know? So it's tricky. It's very tricky. And the rules aren't really fair for us right now. I'll say that. But we've got the Constitution to last the whole race, and that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to change these laws and change the regulation and change the taxation so that we can actually survive and keep, you know, putting money into general budgets.
Totally. Yeah. Christina, do you have anything to add to that?
I was just going to say it is a very competitive market. And that is kind of why we really focus on customer service, is because we can't constantly be trying to bring the market down. You know, like Barry said, it's a fight for the bottom. And we fight with customer service, and we, you know, challenge people to compete with us in that way.
But we do offer great first-time deals. So if you're listening,
we have
first-time
deals. Yeah. No, we have first-time deals and returning deals. We have rewards. We hook it up. We hook it up as much as we can, but we also, like I said, we have that customer service too. So that way we're kind of like can't be touched on both sides.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, as we wrap up at the end, I'll be sure to let you guys give your website information so that they know where to get that first purchase discount. But before we do, I want to leave the floor to both of you. So what's top of mind? What do you want to leave the audience with before we wrap up?
Christina, would you like to go?
Sure. I would just like to say that, you know, at Tradecraft Farms, if you're a veteran, come see us on the first Saturday of every month. We'd love to help you out. And if you're a senior, come see us on the third Saturday of every month. We would love to help you out. And
if you're a senior citizen who's a veteran, come in twice a month.
Yes.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That's great. And I'll keep it going with the philanthropy theme, because I appreciate that you called us about that. You know, we in a week or in 6 days now, we have Gobble Gobble Give. You can go to www.gobblegobblegive.org. Check out our locations. We're all over the country. We're operating in 2 locations in Harlem out of the world famous Apollo Theater. We're in from a honky tonk bar in Nashville to to San Diego, to a cannabis store in San Diego. We're on Las Vegas Boulevard. These are just huge potluck parties where everyone who wants to come If you want to come, all you got to do is bring a dish. It could be grandma's famous cranberry stuffing. It can be your, I used to make my garlic mashed potatoes, which are the bomb. People bring in, we have celebrity chefs who will bring 3 or 4 turkeys. Everyone, we just got a donation from Beyond Meat. We got like 7,000 burgers. So we're going to be cooking burgers up all over California. We'll do tens of thousands of meals on Thanksgiving Day. So check us out. We also, for our Tradecraft Farms, we throw Skid Row Christmas every year, a few days before Christmas. And that's a huge event, black tie affair. There will be some, we haven't announced the acts yet, but it's gonna be some really, really great acts. And Santa Claus will be there. You got the LA Car Club with Santa Claus in the back, and there's about 14 lowriders that we cruise through all of the streets of LA, handing out tents and sleeping bags and solar lighting and warm socks and sweaters to people that live on the street. And so that's how we give back, and you're all invited.
Damn, you were able to book Santa? That's pretty impressive.
I got Santa, bro. He comes every year. He's the real deal.
I'm telling you, man, you guys got it going on. Yeah. Well, hey, I really appreciated talking with both of you, Barry, Christina. Thank you so much for sharing your passion for philanthropy and all the great work that Tradecraft Farms is doing. Barry, Christina, one of you, can you tell me where people can find y'all's website and social media if they want to learn more?
ShopTradecraftFarms.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Kevin.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Bye.